Welcome to Moss Marketing Mondays, aka the M3 Podcast. Brought to you by Moss Marketing Group, bringing you everything marketing every Monday. Stay tuned for marketing tips and tricks you can use today. The M3 Podcast, marketing knowledge to help you succeed. Let's get started.
Welcome back to the M3 Podcast. This weekend, we got Logan and Dre on from the MMG crew. We got Zach on from Longhorn Contracting. Thank you for being here.
Yep. I appreciate you guys having me.
So we actually just recently crossed paths, and the crazy thing is sitting around the house talking, and you come to the office, how many people you've actually had crossed in MMG before this. And I know you and Logan have all kinds of high school athletic beef, and you and Jaime drove vehicles together and all kinds of things. And you've done my deck now, so got the whole 9 yards going.
Yeah, it's a small world.
Yeah. So where do you want to start? We're gonna start from the beginning, go to the end. Where do you want the start point to begin?
Do you want me to start with where I started Longhorn from, or?
Oh no, what hospital were you born in?
I don't know that one.
But where's
your fire?
I feel like everything all comes from something. It's like if that's from high school, there's some people that that wasn't where my fire started. That wasn't where a lot of those things. There's all those things that make up a person. Those stories, those I don't know, pillars of life.
Yeah.
So where does that start for you?
I'd say my grandpa, to be honest. He kind of instilled a lot in me as far as wanting to be where I'm at today. They own a pool business. My grandparents, Oasis Pools down just outside of Columbia in Boonville, and I worked down there from when I was 12 all the way through high school and everything. So all my knowledge was either self-taught or my grandpa taught me. And he was kind of he was one of those old school hard asses. It wasn't oh, it's going to be okay, do it. He's do it right this fucking time or get out kind of deal, which I don't know, I kind of like that because there's not a lot of that anymore. But no, I'd say everything kind of started there. He kind of made me want to be a entrepreneur, do my own thing. So, it started all the way back when I was 12 years old. I kind of always knew I wanted to do my own thing, but I didn't know what it was going to be. But here I am now. So this is what we're rolling with.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times that work ethic is something that, like you said, that it is something that is not as, I don't know, it's became more and more rare as time has progressed on.
Yeah.
And finding that just true work ethic, when you're 12 years old and you're going to work for your grandpa in a pool company, what were you doing?
It was a lot of grunt work starting out. For sure. But I think that's taught me a lot of life lessons. It made sports easier in high school and stuff because I wasn't going to get bitched at more than I was with my grandpa ever. So, coaches ripping my ass was kind of just oh, this is a normal day. But, no, I kind of, as time went on, got more and more responsibility and stuff like that. But, yeah, like you said, work ethic's hard to find. He definitely instilled that in me. If I wouldn't have worked with him, then I don't know what I'd be doing, to be honest. So I'm definitely appreciative of that for sure.
Yeah, and you talk about that leading into sports, and I think it's something where I saw a lot of kids I played sports with growing up, and even through a high school level, that you could tell really quickly the ones that were raised with a work ethic that didn't mind putting in the work to get the reward. But then you saw a lot of people that just had this, I don't want to say victim mentality, but kind of a victim mentality that it was, if they got yelled at, it was the coach's fault. They didn't have extreme ownership in anything that they did. It was always pointing a finger at somebody else, and like it really they stuck out like a sore thumb, and you could see the success level. And it's crazy how I've watched all those kind of from an outside, watch those people since they've left high school, went into college, left college, and kind of progressed into life. And you can see that mindset, how far it's carried the people with that, hey, I own everything I do. I have this work ethic. And you've seen them just prosper in life. You see these other people that just had that mindset even at a young age, and you can see the pathway that they've taken. I'm going to say it's not as great as this one over here.
Yeah.
But so getting into athletics and things, where did you see a difference in that pretty quick of like a work ethic, or where'd you go or high school at?
Oak Grove.
So playing at Oak Grove, did you see a big difference of work ethic in school?
Yeah. I mean, I think I always like anything I do, I'm like, at the end of the day, I want to like win. So it's like whatever you got to do to win. And I think having that work ethic like built in at a young age was kind of like a big thing, because it's like I'm going to do whatever it takes to either earn this spot, win the game, whatever it is. So that definitely helped with sports. Yeah,
Did you like the school side much?
No.
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 Yeah.
I wasn't a big academic guy.
Yeah, it was funny for the longest time. I didn't like academics, and then college, I learned to start liking academics.
Yeah, I kind of had to in college. It was like,
Yeah,
shit's a little harder.
I did start figuring out that my brain could actually take me places.
Yeah.
That for a long time, I think it's funny when at a younger age, I'm like, I can just outgrind everybody. I can outwork everyone, and I was physically fit, and I thought my body could just take me wherever I wanted to go. And as I got older, I started figuring out, I'm like, okay, I got to figure out how to start using my head. Like, that's going to be my home run hit of whatever I do. My body's not going to take me wherever I need to go.
Yeah.
So what position you played what sports all like? We'll back that up.
I wrestled up till in the freshman year. And then I played football and baseball.
Okay. What positions did you play?
In football, I was a fullback and then a outside linebacker.
At Oak Grove, you guys played both sides of the ball?
Yeah.
And then what position you play in baseball?
Third base.
Third base.
Yeah.
Which did you like more?
I'd say football. It was always football. But then, like, I don't know. I kind of, like my senior year and stuff, I kind of, for some reason, liked baseball more. So it was kind of just, I don't know, football. I tore my body up pretty bad. So I was kind of like, dude, I don't know why I didn't choose baseball in the beginning, but I kind of had one of those feelings. But no, growing up, 4th grade all the way through, it was always football. I had the dream every little kid. I was like, I'm going to go to the NFL. And I got to high school. I was like, yeah, that shit's not happening. I was like, I got shorter somehow.
That is one sport. If I go back and if I had it all over to do it all over again, I'd definitely play baseball.
Yeah.
That was one thing I never had a shot at. Never
I'd
took
go
a
for
shot.
the golf team.
I would actually have taken golf a lot more serious too.
Yeah.
When we were 10 years old and our dad was putting us in golf lessons, I absolutely hated it. I'm like,
I think most kids do. I hated golf lessons as a kid too. Grew up all the opportunities. Grandpa was a marshal. Tried to get me into it. Bought my first golf set at 6 years old. I'm like, this is boring.
So he was a ringer then.
I want to go throw a ball around.
yeah.
Brought in a ringer to the tournament.
I think
So we come from around.
he's also a good ringer, being like 6'5", 6'6". He gets some distance on a ball.
Yeah.
He also plays a lot more than us. So
Yeah, I think that was my third time this year picking up.
I played 3 rounds this
Dre's
weekend.
not our ringer, in case you're wondering.
I'm there for moral support.
drinking pal.
He did drive the green once. Almost.
Don't let me have it.
On what, a par 3?
I think it may have been the only drive I hit good all day.
You guys were actually standing on the green when he hit it.
Where were we?
Yeah, we were up there.
It was on.
We were up
It was
there.
on,
When you were-
it was on 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like you should have hit off tee box, and they both
Dre-
look over. They're like, you're not hitting.
Yeah, you guys were up there like on the green. We're sitting there. We're both not hitting. And then Dre's like, well, I'll hit. And then he gets up there and he's like, should I actually hit it? And we're like, dude, you haven't hit a drive even remotely close that direction all day. Go for it. And it literally just stripes one. I'm like,
We're like, do we yell for it?
I'm like, maybe we just need to put a target out there for you to hit at. But no, after that, you guys were further past, so he didn't hit any great drives after that.
Yeah.
But no, it's funny when you're young and those kind of things just don't interest you. Then as I got older, I was like, man, I should have taken those golf lessons a little more serious.
Yeah.
And
Same guy's been playing baseball for 20 years. This guy's been golfing for 40 and he's still out there.
Yeah.
Guy played football for 6 years. He's retired.
yeah,
He's had 6 concussions too.
Yeah.
yeah. I don't think a lot of golfers have a lot of concussions.
I don't know. Thomas did say that he got hit in the head with a golf ball in his backyard when he was a kid. Did you hear this story?
No.
He was playing in his sandbox. They live on the golf course. Just building the dirt. He was building the dirt bike track in his sandbox. And someone double crossed from 2 tee boxes over and just fucking hit him in the head.
Can you imagine that's your ball?
Yeah.
And you sit there, you drive over, there's a kid crying in the sandbox, and you're just
You're
like,
like, whoa.
you're like,
Yeah.
you know what? I'm just going to leave it.
Yeah.
Dude, I think about that sometimes.
Yeah, dude.
I'm like, I'm gonna try and just stroke this. But there's a house over there, so I gotta take into account.
So I'm going to aim 3 holes left.
Dude.
Yeah.
If there's a kid in there and it's just a piss rock and it just hits him in the floor, what do you do then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just walk away.
What happened after that story?
So he wasn't allowed to play in the backyard on men's league night anymore. So Wednesday nights in Trenton, Thomas wasn't allowed in the backyard. They locked him in his room.
You're gonna put me down on that.
Shout out Thomas. So you go through high school, obviously, like everybody. And then what was next? Did you want to do the college route? Did you have the business thing in mind from the jump, or what did that look like?
I mean, I always knew I wanted to like do my own thing, but yeah, I went to Bethany. I just went for like a year, played football, and it was fun and stuff. But it was like kind of time to just like,
You went to Bethany.
yeah,
There's a college at Bethany.
yeah, yeah.
What is it?
That's Bethany College.
It's a silly question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
How many people go to Bethany College?
Not that many.
What division are they?
NAIA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Never even knew that.
Yeah.
Learn
So
something new.
The more you know.
What made you want to go there?
So I like gave up on football because I was gonna go to like Northwest. I had like an offer, but I was like, my shoulders were jacked up and stuff. So I'm just like, oh, I'm just done. I'm gonna go work. And then both my brothers went to Mid America. Ryan played football. Jake played baseball. And Jake ended up going to SBU too. But Ryan's D coordinator at Mid America took the job at Bethany and called. And I was like, if it was anyone else, I wouldn't do it, but I'll go down there.
So you're not talking Bethany, Missouri. This is in Lindsborg,
No,
Kansas.
that's in Lindsborg,
Okay.
Kansas. Yeah.
Different.
It's
Bethany
little,
College.
It's little Sweden.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's a little Sweden. They got these like little donkeys all around town. There's statues. It's like a Swedish town, dude. They got the buildings look like you're in Sweden. It's weird.
How far
That's
is that from
crazy.
Kansas City?
It's like 3 hours,
Lindsborg,
3.5 hours.
Kansas. 805 students.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I've been to
What
Bethany,
do you
Missouri, and I'm like, I swear I have to have missed this place multiple times.
Yeah.
I'm like, where is it
So,
at?
that's what I was thinking too. That's why I asked what it was called. I was like, what do you think the graduation rate is there?
I think it's pretty high because it's a. Is it not? Dude, that's true. It was hard. That was at least I thought. But I'm a dumbass.
It's almost like a private school.
It is a private school.
35% graduation.
All right. Well, that's not good.
That's not great.
I wonder what a good number is for a college, though.
But they only have 805 students, so
what?
like
Did you miss
That
what
makes
it
it
says.
worse, doesn't it?
Bethany Swedes.
That makes it worse.
I think that
doesn't it?
does make it worse.
200 and some?
What's the graduating rate at Northwest? Because I do feel like I came in freshman year, and then the second year I didn't see like any
But
of the
there's
same
like a
people.
lot of dropouts. So, wait, I mean,
That does correlate to a lower graduating.
yeah, that correlates.
52% in Northwest.
All right, so no, here's the thing. I'm gonna say
Did you finish?
why that's so low. Why that's so low. Here, I'm gonna say
It was
this.
because of Zach. Actually.
No,
It's a donkeys
So,
around town.
I went in there. So like after the first year, I was gonna like transfer, and then I come to find out it's not accredited.
They got you good.
Whoa.
That's why it's a cult. That's why there's only 805 people.
So you're stuck. You're like, you either got to graduate from here or you start over.
That's called a cult, buddy,
Yeah.
or a pyramid scheme.
No, that's so okay. So
Well,
that makes
no one
sense.
listens to this podcast is going to be going to Bethany University.
They reach out going, whoa,
Whoa,
no,
dude.
don't be giving up.
Hey, that NDA you signed when you came here was to not tell people that.
That's crazy. You can't transfer any credits.
Mm-mm.
It was your brother
'Cause I
Ryan.
was like-
It
I
was your
was
brother
gonna go-
Ryan that was there. Who was
No,
there?
he was. So the guy who took the head coaching job down there was a DC at Mid America.
So is he's not there anymore. Is
No,
he? Oh, okay.
he didn't make it very long.
He's like something's
That's
fishy
bad.
here.
He's gonna see that.
He goes, all my students keep leaving.
Yeah.
But you can't leave.
You stay and you keep paying us. It's kind of what
Sorry.
college turned into. But
Yeah.
But you did graduate though?
No, I didn't.
No.
grad. I left after a year,
I was like about to say you were
and I
about
was
35%.
like, I'll go somewhere else.
he's
And then
probably
they're like,
65% of other people.
I'll go somewhere else, and then it's like, oh no, this shit's not accredited, so you just want to start over. I'm like, nope, not doing that. So
Yeah, they should probably put that in big fine or big bold letters right
Yeah, I
at the
feel like that
beginning.
should be illegal.
it's like it's private too. It's like
Did you
it's
guys
hard.
all have to wear the same clothes?
it's not high school.
He's like, yeah, we all wore
Yeah,
skirts.
yeah, we wore fucking sweater
They did
vests.
chants every morning before school started.
We had to go to whatever. It's not mass or whatever it is. It was Catholic.
Yeah.
So,
So it's a
yeah.
Catholic,
Nah.
like private Catholic.
Yeah.
call-
Yeah.
Okay.
So you had to go that?
Yeah.
Oh,
If you like played a sport, you had to go.
Huh.
Yeah. So that was
strange.
So
Big
Fun.
fan
No, it
of
was
Swiss
a
now.
weird experience. It was a weird experience. I was like,
It sounds like it. I think the whole podcast could be on your,
I was like-
your 1 year college.
I was like, I'm gonna get in trouble or something. They're gonna like come find me. They're gonna be like, you
oh, they
shut-
definitely will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They definitely will.
Yeah. No, I was the first like month I was down there, I like called my dad and I was like, dude, there ain't shit to do down here. I was like, you just gotta work out or just sit in your dorm. I was like, you gotta go to McPherson to do anything.
What's McPherson?
That's like
Kansas,
20
the
minutes.
town.
Yeah. It's like 20
It's a
minutes
local
away.
bar.
That's what I thought.
It's like 20 minutes away. So you can't, there's nothing to do in Bethany. And like, you couldn't go to like any of the stuff in town because like, they didn't really like the like football players going to bars or anything. So
At
Yeah,
first,
it
I
was
thought you were about to say it was a dry county.
Yeah.
it might have been. No, it wasn't.
He's like, I know it was.
No.
There wasn't a whole lot to do in Maryville, Missouri either.
There's a bar district kind of though.
Yeah, those,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it was
There's
just kind of.
there's like 3 bars.
I'm gonna say
we
we had like working out, sitting in your dorm room, or getting drunk.
It's like
Like-
UCM.
I mean, that's kind of what
you
college
got
is, though,
you got
right?
a
What
little.
else you do?
Yeah. We would bowl on Mondays, or like when you drank on Mondays, it didn't seem like you had
There
a
was a
problem.
You
movie
have
theater.
something to
Yeah.
do with it.
Yeah, because if you
UCM's
just
kinda
went
the
to
same
drink
way,
on a
right?
Monday, you're like, dude, you got a problem.
Yeah.
But if you're like on bowling league, it was like, that's why we're bowling. That's why we're drinking.
You're supposed to wait till Wednesday, Molly's night, to start drinking.
So we went drink on Tuesday, then we'd start on Wednesday back through the line of all the bars.
I met some good guys though. You know, it wasn't all bad. My roommate was cool.
It sounds like it could be whatever you make it. It could
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
fun, you know.
Which that's kind of just life in general.
Yeah, it
like
is.
Yeah.
when I first got to college, I thought it was like coolest thing in the whole entire world because my whole life up until that, I mean, Dre and I living with our dad, like he got us up at 5 o'clock every morning. Like we started working every single day. Like if most kids like in school were like, oh yeah, I want to be sick so I can stay at home. Like I would get up and I'd be like yakking in the morning. And I'd be like coming out in the morning, like ready to go to school. And I would just like walk by my dad, not say a word, just trying to get out of the house to get to school because I'm like, I'm not staying home. Because it was like, if you stayed home, he's like, you're going to work out that sickness.
It's a lot easier to sit in class and do nothing.
Yeah, if you like
Sit
dog
at our
shit.
house and do
Yeah.
nothing.
Well, if you were at home, it was like, you were not going to be sitting around. He's like, okay, now that you're home for the day, you can mow. And you're out there like stopping on the mower, throwing up. Like
That's how you
like
get over
complete
your
shit.
sickness. You work it out.
Work it out.
Yeah.
Work out the demons.
Yeah.
You know?
So it was just one of those things.
Grab a shovel, go move some gravel.
Yeah.
When I got to college, all of a sudden I was like, I had freedom for the first time. It was the first time in my life I didn't have a curfew. I didn't have like anybody waking me up in the morning. I didn't have like I go eat whenever I wanted. I had this like, it was the first time I started pulling financial aid, so I thought it was just free money. So I could just go eat. I'm like, dude, I eat all the time now. I'm like, this is great. And it was just a whole new world. But
I kind of was like the opposite because I was like a dumbass in high school. I got the dumb shit out of the way quick. And then I got to college and I was like, all right, I'm going to be straight laced. I'm going to get my ducks in a row. I'm going to go to class. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that.
See, I think almost sometimes that's a better way to do it.
Yeah, I was the dumbass when I got to college, my freshman year. My freshman year, I was partying 7 days a week, and it was like I'd make the gym twice a day there because, I mean, the gym
was anything else to do.
I know. And the thing is, like, when I got there, you're used to going to high school, like, from the morning till, 3 o'clock, you go home, and it was like
Tuesday, you have one class. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I'm like sitting there, I'm like, what do you mean I only have like 2 classes this day?
He's like,
And
I'm gonna get
freshman,
I can drink at 2 o'clock.
yeah, freshman year there was like, I'd opted out of all the science and math classes as a freshman, so I was starting off in sophomore and junior math and science classes, which they were a little bit more difficult, but all like the gen ed stuff I was taking was so easy. I'm like, this is easier than high school, and I'm like, I can drink every day of the week, I can go party. And I'm still acing my classes. I'm like, this is cake. I'm like, college is great. And it got much harder my next semester. But it was
Start from the top, now we're here.
yeah. Semester number 1, I never studied a single time. I never even opened one of the books that they gave me. And I was acing all my classes like easy. Second semester did not work that way at all. So coming in sophomore year, I started finding the library and studying, and sophomore year was when I started putting all my ducks in a row. I will say
You kind of had to, or they weren't going to let you go there.
I had to write a letter to get back.
Get him, get him.
Logan's just throwing me under the bus
That
over
was
here.
at Northwest.
Yeah.
Damn, that takes a lot to have to do that.
Yeah. So second
It actually
semester.
doesn't take very much. You don't do much, you actually get kicked out.
Second semester, I did really, really bad. So I left freshman year not thinking I was even going to be able to come back.
Didn't even tell her dad.
My dad never even knew. So at this point, I was talking to Mass, and I was like, I can't tell my dad. I was like, he is literally going to like disown me. I was like, I don't know what to do. And the funny thing, first semester, I didn't go to class because I was partying all the time. Second semester, I didn't go to class because I was hanging out with Madison all the time. And so I'm like, and I'm not the English or writing person at all. Like, I was always math, science driven. Like, math makes sense to me. I liked math because you came to a single answer. I felt like English I hated because we could both write a paper and just have a different opinion on how we wrote it, and a teacher could see it completely different. So it's like I did not like those classes, and Madison was always really good at English side writing papers. So I'm like, can you help me write a paper to get back into school? So she helped me write this like 2-page paper and stuff that I sent into the dean's office. It took like a month for them to review it. I'm back home detailing cars, and I'm detailing cars in a service drive. I'm like, I'm gonna have to tell my dad that I'm not going back to college. I'm
I
like,
better get really good at detailing these cars.
I'm like, I'm gonna have to go back up Northwest and get all my shit because at
Wonder
the
if I
end,
could just live up there.
yeah, I might just go work at the Kawasaki plant. Come to town, you up there, and stay there forever. But
You guys cool if I work 9 months out the year, gotta go back for 3 months?
my dad thinks I'm at college still. I'm working at the Kawasaki plant. But so I ended up writing a letter, and then they approved me to get back in. And the funny thing, after that, I got good grades all through the rest of school. But
It was like a scared straight program.
the
You're like, my dad's gonna beat my ass.
The whole thing is like, please don't let me get abused at home.
my murder is going to be on your guys' plate, okay? But no, it was. I think those things need to happen. That I needed that time to find myself and get myself in line. That I think as easy as it is to tell people that you need to do this, you need to do that. Like, it takes somebody on their own to really come to that conclusion. And once I came to it, it made it to where I wanted it. And I took it way more serious after that.
Yeah.
But it actually came to a spot that I was like, what do I want in my life? Like, what am I going to do? It's like, it starts here on discipline levels. And things like that. And I was disciplined in a lot of aspects of my life, just not academically.
Yeah.
Which I knew that was the thing that needed to get figured out to start moving the needle forward.
What made you want to leave college?
So this is a good story to get
It was
into.
a cult. You found out it was a cult.
No, so like kind of my parents were kind of involved in it too. It was kind of
In the college?
no, and why I left. No, it was so like I said, I tried to like not go out and stuff, and then there's another town close by called Salina, and my roommate, it was his birthday, so we went to this like all ages because we were like underage. We went to this like all ages club in Salina, and one thing led to another. I didn't want to go out. I was like, we've made it this far. Let's just get through the semester, not do anything dumb. So we go out, and then like shortly after we're there, it's like 20 football players went to this place, and there's like this group of like these guys are in their like early 30s come in. This is the bad thing about all ages bars, you know. There's like you got 50-year-olds and 20-year-olds and 18-year-olds. It's a mess. But anyway, like one thing led to another, and there's like an all-out brawl at one point. So I'm like in the I didn't like start it, but I didn't throw the first punch.
Was this the football players versus the 30-year-olds?
Yeah. So it's like me and my roommate. It started over stepping on some Jordans, dude. Like, what are we doing here?
You stepped on my boots, bro. My boots are more your Jordans.
Yeah.
I mean, I might fight you on stepping on some Jordans.
I might. So it like, I don't. Yeah, one thing led to another. It's like me and my roommate and like three of these dudes coming at us, and like one of them swung, like hit me pretty good, but I just like ate it, and then I like looked at him and was like, "Are you sure?" I was like, "Are you sure?" And then he swung again, and then my roommate just like one punches him. He's gone. He's just out on the floor, and then my roommate this is like the craziest part of the story. You know, it's Ciroc. Like, you know how thick Ciroc balls are? Like, you can throw them off the ground and they don't break?
Yeah.
Dude, he got hit over the head. It broke. So he's knocked out. He's gone. He's just laying
Your
there.
roommate?
Yeah, he got knocked out.
Guess it's just me.
Yeah, so it's like, so I'm like, another dude's coming. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to like tackle him. And there's like a bar towards the end of we're on like a dance floor. I'm like, there's a bar over there. I'm just going to throw him on that and I'll just take it from there. We'll see what happens. But I'm like running people over. So then it's starting other fights. So like the whole bar is just it's a mess. So then I'm like, I'm not going to make it to the bar. So I just like threw him down.
You have this much time to think in the middle of this fight?
I mean,
I've been in a lot of fights, and it's normally pretty fast thinking. You're sitting there,
I mean, it happened fast, but
you're
I'm
sitting
like,
out there.
Hey,
No, I
things
was
are going
thinking-
slow
Yeah.
now.
He's writing out a full roadmap of where he's going.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna try and get over there, and then but it like happened fast. But then I like dropped him on the concrete, but I like held his hand, so it like knocked him out. But then I like at this point I'm like blacked out because I'm like mad, so I'm just like I'm still like swinging, and then finally I like you know when you're in a fight you're like you kind of just zone out.
Oh yeah.
You come back too.
Yeah, no. Well, I came back too because some dude kicked me right in the bridge of the nose. Like cracked my nose.
That's what brought you back?
Yeah. So then I'm like trying to swing up from here and just getting pounded. I'm just like, okay. So then like our middle linebacker pulls me out of it, and then I like we get out of it, and then I'm like looking for my roommate, obviously, but then I'm like there's like blood everywhere, so I'm like some of this has got to be like mine, right? I'm like looking her. I got stabbed.
Oh, fuck.
What a curveball. Didn't see that coming.
Yeah, I got stabbed in my like forearm, my wrist, and so I'm like, and like this one like hit like a vein, so I'm like, it's like it was like squirting out. So I'm like, take my shirt off, wrap it around it, and then we go outside. There's already like 4 cop cars and an ambulance.
Hey, at least the ambulance was there.
Yeah.
Sir, I got stabbed.
Yeah.
Sorry, nothing to do with this. I got stabbed.
My roommate's in there on the ground. I couldn't find him.
No, so I'm like still looking. I'm looking for my roommate. And then I see him. He's got like an eraser top haircut. I see him in the ambulance. So I like swing open the door of the ambulance. And I like looking. I was like, I fucking told you we shouldn't have went out. And then he's like, this dude's got like a goose egg on his face that looks like a cartoon character, bro.
Motherfucker got stabbed.
Yeah, I'm like, and then the paramedic, he's like, "Oh, are you okay?" I'm like, "I'm going to the hospital now. I'm fine. It'll be all right." So then one of my buddies drives me to the hospital, and by this time it's like, dude, it's 2 by the time I get to get seen, and I'm like, I was leaking all over the ER, like it was bad, and then they're like asking for insurance, so I'm like, oh god. I was like, I gotta call my dad. I was like, this is bad. I was like, just stitch me up, just glue it, do something. I was like, I'm not calling my dad. They're like, no, we need to get that figured out. I was like,
is it Walmart open? I can go.
Yeah.
Get some.
I think I can fix this myself.
I was like, it'll be fine. But it was like 18 stitches, so it was kind of like, yeah, it probably had to.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it probably needed to get stitched up. So I like call him, doesn't answer. Call him, doesn't answer. Call him the 3rd time. He answers, and it's like just dead silence.
At 2 in the morning.
Yeah, I'm not saying anything. He's not saying anything. Then finally he goes, "What the fuck happened?" And I was like, nothing. I was like, I just gotta something happened. I gotta get some stitches. It'll be all right. And he's like, I'm gonna ask this one more time. What the fuck happened? And I was like, I just got in like a skirmish down here, and I got stabbed a couple times. I was like, it's not like life threatening or anything. Like it was in my arm, so like we're good.
I blocked it. Don't worry, Dad.
And he's like, I'm on my way. I was like, no. I was like, no, I'm fine. I just need to get some stitches. But then he didn't come down like right away, but then he comes down the next day, and he's like, comes in. I was like in the training room, like doing that deal where you like turn rice with to like strengthen your wrist or whatever.
After you've been stabbed the day after.
Yeah.
Make sure your muscles still work.
Yeah, make sure it still works. I'm like, I can't feel anything, but yeah, this is great.
Motion is good, can't feel it.
Yeah, good. This is good. NAI school, this is good. Non-accredited. No, but then he comes in there and he's like, all right. He's like, I got security footage pulled and stuff. I was like, dude, we're not doing anything. Like, I didn't die, so like it's all good. But what was probably worse than that was I didn't think anyone would know, like at school.
You're 20 minutes away, just far enough away.
Yeah, I was like, we're good. Like,
only bar everyone goes to.
It was all football players. They're like, no one's gonna say it. Like, it's fine. Like, nothing's gonna happen.
All you guys come back, motherfucker got stabbed. Somebody got hit there with a strap on. Okay, the whole starting lineup isn't starting.
Yeah, I was like,
nobody will notice.
Me and my roommate get up. First of all, I get up. I was like, dude, I got hit by a car, dude. I was like, I'm pretty sure I've broken all my ribs. I was like, this is terrible. But then get up, go into the cafeteria, and I got like, dude, it's hot outside. I got a hoodie on, sunglasses, like my hood's up, and I go in there. We open the doors and like everything stopped in the cafeteria. I was like, oh shit, dude. I was like,
the cult knows.
Everyone knows.
The leader told them.
I was like, everyone knows. So I'm like, we'll get some food. We'll go back to the dorm, whatever. So we like sit down, haven't even taken a bite of food. Here come all the coaches over the table. And like, grabs me by the shoulder. He's like,
you're like, oh, don't do that.
I'll stop there too, bro.
He's like, go ahead and head to the office after you guys are done. I was like, God damn it. He's like, all right. So then go over there after we get done. And I'm like, I pop into like my D coordinator's office. And he's like, take your sunglasses off. Nah, dude, my nose is broke too. So I'm like, got 2 black eyes. And I take them off. And he's like, Jesus Christ.
I got very little sleep.
Yeah. He's like, Jesus
You should
Christ.
see the other guy.
That's what I'm saying, dude. He's like, Jesus Christ. And he's like, I said that. I was like, yeah, you should see the other guy. And he's like, get the fuck out of here. And so go into the head coach's office, and he like slides a pen and paper across. He's like, go ahead and write down everyone that was there. I was like, oh yeah, that's not happening. He's like,
I got hit pretty hard.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I drank way too much.
Yeah.
I think I went there by myself.
You know what I'm not is a fucking narc.
Yeah. And then he's like, all right, we're just not even gonna practice today. No one's shooting up. We're just gonna run until everyone just throws up. I was like, okay.
You tell I got doctor's note, I got stitches. I don't think I'm gonna be able to run.
I actually have today off, so
Yeah.
I hope everyone else enjoys that.
So then, like,
My roommate has a concussion too, so he won't be running.
that was from something completely
Yeah, he got
different.
hit
Don't
in
know what
the-
happened.
He was golfing. He got hit in the
Yeah, he
yeah,
actually
yeah.
figured out when he put everyone out to run, the people not running. You were there. You were there. You were there. You were there.
But yeah, that was kind of the after that, my parents were like, yeah, I don't think this is the right place for you. And I was like, yeah, probably right. And I'm like, well, I'll go to Northwest or go to Pitt State or something. Figure
I'll go to a
something out.
different college.
Yeah. And then it's like, well, actually, sir, you this isn't accredited, so like we can't transfer anything over there. So I was like,
Great.
so I'm gonna go to school for 5 years. I was like, nah, I'm good.
Victory lap's always good. Once in a
Yeah,
while.
I was like, no, I'm not. I didn't like school to begin with, so like I'm not spending any more time than I have to.
Hey,
so.
you already learned it once. Learn it a second time.
We
Yeah,
forgot
so-
it in the bar fight.
Yeah.
Got
That's it.
stabbed. That took a turn.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
that was a deal.
And the funny thing, I like that the whole deal. Like even when I got hurt, when anything happened, the worst part of any of it was having to call my dad.
Yeah, I was like, oh god, I'm terrified.
No, at that point, you're like, you know what? I also
Yeah.
I don't think it's that bad.
I was
we-
like, I could have been dying. And I'm like, dude, I'm not calling.
See,
dude.
we were at our
You
pool one
should've
day.
stayed
It
in
was
the ambulance and had them take
Yeah.
care of it.
we were at the pool one day. Not even like a cool story or anything. I just hit one of the deals that held the pool tarp on, like ripped the heel of my foot off. So I'm like, Dre and I have it elevated, and my dad was at work, so we call our mom,
He was
and I was
trying
like,
to chase me around the pool.
so it was
Me
just two of
being
us
more
home.
of an athletic individual. I dodge her. Dane steps on him. And then he goes to the ground. He's like, oh, I'm like, dude, you ain't getting me, bud. And I'm looking by his foot. I'm like, that's a lot of blood.
So we have it elevated out there. We have a towel on
Well,
it.
first,
And we
the
did-
things were rusty, so we're like, put it in the pool. Like, it's got chlorine. It's going to kill it.
Yeah.
Like, you're up to
Kill-
date on your
kill
tetanus
the
shot?
tetanus.
Yeah, they don't
No,
know.
so we're just like, put it in the pool. I'm like, chlorine, like, oh, kill it. Like, bacteria. So he puts it in the pool. And he's like, oh, I'm like, oh, maybe you don't.
So I get up on the table. And we call my mom. Was like, hey, bring super glue, duct tape, everything over, so we fix up my foot. She's like, what happened? I was like, it was just cut my foot a little bit. And
We're
she
like,
gets
you should
there.
probably
She's
get
like,
here kind of quick.
she gets there and she's like, you're going to the hospital immediately. And I was like, well, my buddy Kyle's coming over. Can we go pick him up on the way? And she's like, whatever. I'm like, his house is on the way to the hospital. It's fine. So we pick Kyle up on the way. And I have my foot all wrapped up, and it's like we got the bleeding to stop if it was elevated. Like it was all. I ended up getting 42 stitches to get my whole heel of my foot put back on. And my mom's like, I cannot believe you're going to try super glue and duct tape that. I'm like, I just didn't want to call dad. Like that was, my dad gets a call. Like I'm back at the house. It's been stitched up. Everything. We're back home until my dad ever even found out. I came home and they gave me crutches, and he called me a pussy for trying to use crutches. I was like, well, I have stitches from one side of my foot all the way to the other side. But yeah, it was. That's the worst part about all of it.
It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. You have 2 feet.
Yeah.
I was like scared. I was like scared of my dad, but at the same time, like, you know, I don't know what I'd do without him. So it was like,
Oh,
Yeah.
same way. Like
yeah,
tons of respect for my dad.
Yeah.
Like, but it's just like I always like.
Dane tried manning up to our dad one time.
It was one time only. Like our dad's not a small dude, and it's I've always had very high level of respect for him, but it's also like what he says goes.
Yeah.
Like when there was no, like growing up with him, there was never a why. There was never like you did not
Hey,
ask.
you don't ask why you're doing anything. He literally sent me out one day. We had gravel dropped off, and we sit there and we gravel all the way from the front of our driveway to our house, and then we had a side road that went up to the barn. He goes out and he's like, it's just not level. He's like, you need to go out and kick that around. I look at him. I'm like, just so I understand, you want me to go kick rocks? He's like, yeah, it needs to be level. I'm like, okay. I'm literally out there for like 2 hours. Just I'm like, I don't know how to make these fucking level. I'm like, I'm literally kicking rocks.
He would literally like we had all the equipment, skid loaders, tractors, and everything, and he would figure out the hardest way to do something just so you like learn a lesson from doing it.
Like push mowing 5 acres.
Yeah, so if you really mess something up, he'd make you push mow the whole 5 acres in front of the house, and you would literally just sit there and like you would be out there for like an hour and you've made like no dent on it.
We'd have like 10 gallons of gas just sitting there, and it's like you could do maybe like 15 feet.
Yeah.
And you're filling that thing up with gas.
Yeah, it was we had a little bit different punishments growing up than most kids, like where it's like, oh, you get to go sit in your room. Like that would have been like a reward. You go just get to sit in your room. So
put headphones on. I'm like, I play PlayStation.
Trey's like, send me to my room. So you get done at college, you're gonna leave, you're stabbed. What is
It's like a drama.
Dude, I know. The whole thing took quite the. You're like, this is a story. Let me tell you. I was like,
you at least have a cool scar.
That
like,
was I got like this one, and then I got the one on my wrist.
I like how you just like nonchalantly say, "Yeah, I came out and I was stabbed." I was like,
Yeah.
"Whoa!"
Yeah. I like how you really held that to the very end of the
Yeah.
story. That was good.
Yeah, it was good. That was good storytelling.
Yeah, I was waiting. You know, it's like a
Maybe you should get into writing books.
yeah. No, I was gonna say that too, and they said
Actually, in the 2 weeks I had to think after, I wrote a
book is
book.
coming out next. No, I was like, I liked English. I didn't like math or anything. I was a decent writer, which dude, my oldest brother Ryan was like a hell of a writer. But no, that was like one of the classes I liked in college. I took like it was a class you wrote like all like fiction or whatever, so I'd like make up random stories. I like love that class, but I was majoring in like criminal justice, so like I don't know why I did that. I was like, I feel like
criminal justice studying
Yeah.
and getting stabbed at the bar.
yeah, that was dude,
yeah.
our
You wrote a project about that. Like, this is supposed to be fiction.
This is the live action case study.
no,
I was doing this for a class.
The names and dates in the story have been changed to protect those involved.
the professor who like ran the criminal justice program, dude, he made me get up in our criminology 101 class and apologize. Me and Savon, my roommate, got up in front and apologized for that fight.
Why?
Well, that's why I asked.
Was
I was
he
like,
involved?
I was like, he
was one of the
asked me
30-year-olds.
to. No, he
You
asked
apologized
me.
to me, man.
He's the one who stabbed me. Oh my God, this took a turn.
Dude, next time you tell this story,
just keep asking.
I joined a cult. My teacher actually stabbed me at the bar.
They said it was initiation, but it didn't feel like
Dude, you could just say it was based on semi-true events.
Based on a
pretty
true
good.
story, I think only like 7 or 10% of it has to be real.
I see why only 35% graduated. But
Yeah,
the
teacher
teacher
stabbing
stabbed people.
No,
Did you ever find out the guy that stabbed you?
No, I didn't want to. I was like, they weren't the people I wanted to like mess with.
You know, eye for an eye.
Yeah.
Get it back.
Probably
It
did.
would have been a gun next time.
Yeah.
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 Anyway,
No,
So-
but my my criminology teacher, he's like, I laughed when he asked because he was like, you need to like get up there and apologize for, and I was like, what for what? I was like, he hit me. What do you do? Just eat it? I was like, what are you gonna do in that situation if like dude just walks up and he's like, well, he shouldn't have been there. I was like, dude, we're in college. I was like, what do you mean?
yeah, you didn't go to a bar in college?
Yeah, I was like, did you not?
Find
He's
that
like,
hard to
this
believe.
isn't about what I did. And I was like, okay.
You tell him not to be at Walmart on Black Friday. It could happen there.
And then so like I got up and he like basically made us read like statements word for word. Like the one I like laughed when I was doing that too because he was like, it was like, I'm not a violent person. It was a violent action. And I was like, what is this, dude? And I'm like
This is
looking at
starting
him.
to sound more and more like a cult.
I was like,
We joked at the beginning. It's leading down the path.
Dude, what if at the end of this you told us the whole thing's made up? This was a fiction story I put together
I
for
didn't even
the
go to college.
This is my book. This is my book coming out.
you will hear about it in my book. It is dropping.
This is part 1. Just if you want to hear part 2, you got my book.
It's a 67-part series.
Oh shit.
No, it was real. I wish it was fake.
He's like, no, it was real.
I think it's a good thing you got out of there.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever wanted to go to Sweden, Kansas.
Yeah. Little Sweden, dude.
Yeah, Little Sweden.
Little Sweden. No, that it was like a cool town, like a
donkeys everywhere.
yeah. Wait, like years ago.
That's kind of like Marysville, Kansas. They got a bunch of squirrels, black squirrels.
But okay,
No, it was,
we get out of college. What is? I don't think the story could ever stop in college. For it only being a year, a lot happened.
yeah, it did. A lot did happen. It happened in a short period.
Did
of
you
time.
guys win a football game?
No, we
No,
no, we won one. We beat Tabor.
Tabor.
We beat
Never.
Tabor.
Where's
We
Tabor
went
at?
1-9 in Iowa. We went
What were some of the
1-9.
teams that you played?
We played Kansas.
Logan can't just give himself together.
We were like Kansas Wesleyan. It was like the KCAC. So you'd like play like Sterling, Kansas Wesleyan, Tabor. We played Baker. Well, we went down and
Baker
played
University.
We went down and played. The first game of the year was Sam Houston State. Yeah. Before they were like a D1, it was a whatever. They were. I think they were D2 at that time because then they went D1 AA and then they're officially D1 now. But yeah, no, we were bad.
Yeah.
But we had a lot of there's a lot of ex D1 guys there, but just never played because they didn't go to class. So
So academics.
yeah, got them. Academics got them.
Academics will get you.
Yeah,
Happens to the best of us.
yeah.
But yeah, it was a good thing I wasn't playing a sport because second semester freshman year, Dane wouldn't been playing. But so, what's the transition out of college look like?
So Jake, my brother, was working at Bob Allen Ford, so I went and worked there for a little bit, and then both of us left and went and worked at all things College Hunks Moving. That was actually pretty fun. We were there. We did that for like a year and a half. Made some pretty good tips, you know. That was pretty fun. And then after that, I went and I worked at a company called Full Service Chimney doing masonry restoration. I learned a lot from that too. I was there. I was there for like 5 years. And then after that, started my first company, which was one of my buddies already had which Jaime knows, Steve Diddy. Yeah. Now we were doing like landscaping. That was like my first under like Rockstar, lawn and hardscapes. Did that, but then like got in way over my head. I was pretty young. Got a lease to own a nursery with no business plan whatsoever. So it was like, we'll figure it out, dude. It can't be that hard, you know. We'll figure it out. Yeah, it was pretty hard. Didn't go as planned. So that kind of went sideways. And then I went back to full service for a little bit. And then I started, which basically Centerview Construction is Longhorn Contracting. I just like rebranded it. I started Centerview. And then the reason I like rebranded it was because my last name's Horn, and then my grandpa, which was on my mom's side, so her maiden name was Long, so it's Longhorn. I kind of wanted my grandpa to be a part of it somehow, you know, like have his name in it. So that's kind of why we rebranded, and yeah, and then that's where we've been. That's where we're at now. So
I like it. I like the
awesome.
name behind that.
Yeah, I did
the idea behind the name.
everyone's like, "Oh, you're from Texas." They got like a Texas Pride dump trailer too. They're like, "Oh, you guys are from Texas?" Oh, no.
Nah.
I went to college with Bethany.
No, yeah. I went
Have
to
you heard of
little
Bethany?
Sweden. You ever heard of little Sweden?
I'm actually from Sweden.
It was like, you ever seen these little donkeys?
I'm surprised you don't have a little donkey at your house. Or do you?
I don't want to remember those days.
Yeah.
He's
So-
like, this has actually been the most traumatic hour of my life.
Yeah, he's like, why'd you resurface all of these
Yeah.
things?
So
He goes, I go to therapy twice a week, so I have to remember that.
Like,
I was like, I just got over that it wasn't a cold. My therapist told me.
So
No.
when was that you started Longhorn?
So this is going on 4 years. So it was Centerview originally, and then we transferred it over. So roughly 4 years.
So I know it's in the contracting space, but what is it that you guys? What are all the different avenues of things that you handle?
So basically we kind of want to just get into like custom decks, but as of right now, like we'll do patios, decks, whether it's like repair or replace. And then we'll still do like the occasional like landscaping, whether it's like a retaining wall or something like that. But mainly focusing on the patios and the decks.
So you're talking like paver patios?
We don't really do those anymore. It's mostly just concrete.
Concrete patios?
Yeah. So whether it's, stamped or just broom finish, anything like that, we'll do. But we're trying to just get more towards the custom decks, like high-end decks. That's kind of where we want to be. I think that's where we want to take this. But that's a process. I mean, you got to take what's there at the end of the day.
And the crazy thing is in the deck space, when you guys first came in the office to meet with us, like my original deal was if we were going to work with you guys, if I could get a bid on my deck.
Yeah.
Because I tried like 6 companies just try to get a bid. I couldn't get a bid back to Trex my deck and put new railing on it.
Yeah.
And I was like, at one point, it was probably like 3 months ago, I was like, how hard would it be to open up a deck company, like on the side, that we just guarantee bids? Like, it's crazy. And at one point, I thought about like just running ads and just getting deals where I just go out and just bid decks way high, and then sell them off to actual deck companies.
Yeah.
That's like already bid out, just because like these people just weren't giving bids, and it's. You see so many business owners out there that will complain about having work. They'll complain about cash flow, but they're not working. They're not putting in the work. And they'll go look at a bid. They'll be like, well, this person might not do it, blah, blah, blah. They sweep it under the rug. I'd prefer to have a different job. And it's just like you said, taking those deals that is every job perfect. Like we were talking inside, a lot of times it's better to build a deck fully from scratch than it is coming and retrexing a whole deck and doing what you did on mine. But I put it in the neighborhood page that I had a conversation with a neighbor 2 doors down 3 months ago. There's like 5 people in the neighborhood trying to get their decks done. They can't get bids on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how is this space so poorly ran? And it was one of those things when we talked and you guys came and did our deck and did an amazing job. You're quick in and out, very professional on the whole thing. It was just like, I was like, there's more opportunity than out there for doing what you guys are doing.
Yeah. We hear that I'd say at least 80% of the time we go to bids, you're hearing they're like, well, we've called 5 other companies and no one's even came out, or they did come out and then it's been 2 months, we haven't got a bid. So it's like half the battle is just like showing up and getting numbers. Dude. Yeah. It's like, which is crazy. It's crazy, but that's kind of where we're at, I guess, in society. I don't know. I think in the deck space, it's kind of a little different because there's like 4 big companies in Kansas City that kind of control the market, and like the littler guys, it's like they can't compete with what All Weather Decks is doing or what KC Decks doing. At least I think they can't. I think that's kind of the mentality. They're like, look, we're never going to rank number 1 on Google. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do this. We don't have the cash flow, blah, blah, blah. Well, it's like, dude, there's All Weather Decks isn't getting every deck in Kansas City. Like, their margins are like astronomical because, they get a lot of leads. Yeah, they go in and blow them out of the water. But so like, there's a lot of opportunity to go in there, like even after them and get those jobs because there's still a lot of money in them. I mean, we've bid on ones with every big deck company in Kansas City, and we've won some, we've lost some, but like it's there. I mean, but it's just having that mentality. Like you can't get put under their thumb, basically. Like it's not.
The other thing too that I talk to people all the time about, and especially small business owners, is the fact that those big businesses weren't always big.
Yeah.
It wasn't like one day all-weather decking just opened up the doors and they were the size that they are.
Yeah.
What separates small business owners from big business owners is figuring out acquisitional work and figuring out how to scale. And that's the biggest thing that I've started to learn about business is why is all-weather deck the size that they are is they figured out how to generate leads all the time.
Yeah.
They figured out how to put leads inside there. They probably have a group of guys that are out bidding decks all day, every day. They figured out where the pain points were. They figured out how to put their thumb on those pain points for clients. They figured out how to sell a large amount of decks and then put crews out there to put decks on one after another.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, they have a staff, they have all this stuff, but in the beginning, it was them figuring out how to acquire work all the time.
Yeah.
And it was the same thing when we started off in the house, like Dre and I sitting in a bedroom, I'm like, at that time, I'm like, how do we ever compete with these big companies? How do we ever get in the room to compete and knock on those doors? But it's just pressing the market every single day and trusting the process.
Mm-hmm.
That right now, the meetings we get, it's like, I know 100% we're supposed to be there, but it's also knocking on the door of that national stage. Like, but it's just trusting the process, but it's always generating more work. And we always understand that we have to generate more work. We have to sell more deals. We have to put more clients with us. And as more clients join on with us, that's going to hire more people. And then the whole thing just continues to scale.
But there's also that time to put in the grind. Or
Yeah.
it's like
You have to have a good product and good service.
for a long time, like Dane was in the thick of it with all of us and wasn't focused on that. It's like, hey, how do we got the business, how do we get it done? So then it's like we figured it out, and then there were sectors of the business that we had that sucked. But it's like, hey, this is what we have to do to get here. It's like, this is what we have to do to get here. And that's what's led us to where we're at. And Dane will even say, he's like, a while ago, he was always fearful. He's like, what if someone like duplicated this? And then everything we've been to this point, Dane's like, nah.
If they want to come, go for it. Like the uphill fights that I've had to take on and that we've taken on as a company is just the knowledge base that comes with it. I am 100 times a different person now than I was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Just from a confidence level, from a knowledge level, from how to run and operate. But that comes with business. And if I could go back and tell myself one thing when I started this 4 years ago was start marketing ourselves earlier. Because in the first 2 years of business, we didn't really market MMG at all. Like we marketed for companies, but we weren't putting our own name out there.
Yeah.
And it was like we posted on Instagram, like we never ran paid ads. Like I didn't have the money to run
We
paid
were in
ads.
a basement.
But it was like,
Everyone starts somewhere.
yeah. Today we were back looking at the first MMG video that we ever made today, and how comical it was compared to what we're putting out now. And I'm like, holy shit, that was 2 years ago.
We didn't know audio. Surprise. And Ricky came on where he's like, you guys don't do audio? We're like, dude, music overlay on everything. And I'm like, we didn't know what a mic was. Like, we knew what mics were, but we just didn't know how to.
We actually had one cord that was wrong. There's audio cords that work on cameras and stuff, and there's also a different type of audio cord that would plug into like a cell phone.
Yeah.
Ricky looked at the first 5 minutes he was with MMG and told me I had the wrong cord that I'd been jacking around with for like 6 months. So that was like we didn't do like talking head stuff. Like when Ricky started, like we weren't doing any of that stuff, and it was just like our content level of like what we were doing was so low. Like our marketing side, like Dre and I had a name in the car business, so we could get a lot of car business stuff. But it's like that progression side that we took a lot of work at that point. Anything that was paying us, we were taking it. And it's like now we're at a spot that if it doesn't make sense in the business, we turn it away.
I talked to a guy today. He's like, you take on stuff like this. I'm like, no. He's like, I probably have like 20 people right now that like could use this. I'm like, yeah, but I'm like, we're not here just to take people's money. I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm like, what, we take the money for 2 months, they're pissed off at us, it doesn't work. I'm like, if we don't pair it together with what we know how to do, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I'm not going to have 20 people out there that are just pissed off at us and we make an extra little bit of money. What does that change for us?
Yeah. And in the early days too, in business, you have to be a professional and you have to be the professional in your space and know what you're doing. In the early days of marketing, I would sit at tables and I would listen to what other people had to say and I would take their ideas. Like if you came to us and you're like, hey, I want to do these videos, I want to do this and this and this, I'm like, okay, like we'll do that. Like now I'll just blatantly, somebody will be like, I want to do this, this, and that. I'm like, great. Like that's not going to fucking work. And they like look at me like, what? We do this all day, every day. We have 100+ companies we work with. That's not going to work. We have the track record now. We have the proven things that work, the things that don't work. This is what we need to do, and this is how we're going to run it. If you're going to operate with us, you're going to give our team the ability to do it the way it needs to be done, so it works, because we don't run on contracts. So the last thing I'm going to do is just sit here and take your money for 2 months and not work, and then you'd be pissed off at us.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, then it's like 2-3 years ago, I wasn't that way, and I thought everyone, just because they had been in business for 30 years, knew marketing or knew what they were doing in their industry. And as we progress, it's like we have people who have been in business for 40 years and have no earthly idea about their marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's same thing when you come and look at a deck. You told me, you're like, I need to do X, Y, and Z on the railing. I'm like, great. I don't build decks. Like, and you're like, tell me, like, well, it's gonna do this on the railing and all that. I'm like, do whatever you think's gonna work. Cool, you got it. You're the professional.
Right now it's a little wobbly. Is it gonna be wobbly when it's done?
The stairs aren't wobbly anymore.
No, they're nice and sturdy.
They're nice, yeah.
But I just think that's something you learn with time, and it's the progression of it. But acquiring new work to where it's, if you have leads on decks all the time and you have it to where you're bidding decks out, it's like that's something that you start figuring out. It's when you run ads, what's it cost to acquire one lead, and then it's you figure out what you can make. And most people want to be greedy on it, and they want to make astronomical amounts of money. But it's our business model, like what we do on our personal ads. We spend a shit ton of money on personal ads.
Yeah.
But with that shit ton of money that we spend, it drives a shit ton of leads, which we got to sift through all of, to then find the good ones, to have meetings that then we know what a 50% closing ratio that we're going to be running, that of in-office people, that it's like, then we know what that comes down to, dollar and cent. And it's, you're going to pay a good amount of money to get one of those leads.
Yeah.
Most people are like, I wouldn't pay that much for a lead. Like, then you haven't really put it in a spreadsheet and understand what that could really make you.
Yeah.
So,
because it is like, which I learned that the hard way. It's like, yeah, you can get a shit ton of leads, but are they high content leads, or are we going to like a Section 8 housing and fucking, well, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Like, that's a waste of money. So it's like, which I learned that like I said, I learned that the hard way. And I mean, I like 90% of the stuff that's came in through what you guys have brand's been high content leads, you know? It's like shit that's gonna close, or, you know, at least it's like a decent area, you know?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a $300,000-$500,000 house, and it's like, okay.
And that's where we're very particular on targeting. And that is one thing we've always discussed, that we roll into a new area, that time when it comes that we're all going to take on a new area, we're going to conquer one city at a time, but we're going to do a ton of research on that area. Because the reason we do so well in Kansas City with ads is we know Kansas City.
Yeah.
We're all from Kansas City. That an outside company is going to look at Kansas City as a whole on ads, and they're going to, the highest volume of leads that you're going to generate in all of Kansas City is going to be independents. It's a highest saturation area that you can get leads galore.
Oh, your lead count is like, say for instance, we go over numbers and then it's like, I want those to look better. It's like, great. We throw them independents. We can probably cut that.
We can cut their lead
cost.
Yeah, we can make it to where you just have a growth of leads.
Close ratio is 6%.
Yeah, so you're going to drop down.
It's like your profit margins. You're sitting there. It's like you're going for repairs now, not full builds. You just go for different stuff.
Yeah.
It's your bidding stuff that you might not be getting, and that's where we look at it, is like, what is the client you want to work with?
Yeah.
Where do they live? What are their zip codes? What's the financial status of those people? And it's like we get very niche down on what that looks like, but it's when you really do the math on it, there's so many people that are like, well, I run Facebook leads and I don't feel like I get a whole lot. I don't really believe in them. I'm like, you click Kansas City plus 30 miles, that's a 3 million person audience. Like, you want to talk about not getting anything? That's like going to the Ozarks, going out to the very middle of it, dropping a goldfish right in front of you and hoping that you get a fucking 50-pound fish. It's not going to happen. Like, you have to get targeted on what you do. You have to understand audiences. You have to understand your areas. And we have people come all the time that are like, I want to own Kansas City. I'm like, your pockets ain't deep enough.
Yeah.
Like we spend 15, 20 grand a month on ours and we don't even scratch the surface. Like the ad side can get so crazy on what you spend that I know big auto groups that spend $200,000 a month on just their ad side. But they understand what the cost of acquisition looks like, that 200 grand to them is like you and I spending $1,000.
Yeah.
And it's just, what's that scale look like? That they never think about pulling that money back. That's just cost of doing business. That's cost of putting more people in there.
Yeah.
And we look at it the same way for us. That's the cost of doing business. That's the cost of putting more people in the office. That's the cost of scale. Like if we want to scale up, we know that we have to put that in place. Do we get referral work? Do we get that side of it? 100%. Does it come in and grows fast enough to scale at the speed that we want to? No. It always comes, and we could just have a slow or organic driven business that would take years to build. But people look at us in 4 years like, how have you guys done what you've done? Like, pay to play.
Yeah.
Like, but once you start figuring that out, you start figuring out what scale looks like. You figure out what it costs to acquire one lead. You figure out how you can multiply that over. You figure out what your close ratio is on bids that you do. You can literally scale it to any size that you want.
Yeah.
You can go duplicate it in other cities, one after another. That's how those guys get big, figuring that out. And I look at it as like it's not rocket science.
Yeah.
And that's why I like the math side. That at the end of the day, I look at businesses, it's a huge math problem. Like, if you can figure out how the problem works, like you can figure out scale.
Yeah.
If you have a good storyteller,
Yeah.
Dude,
makes the numbers
the
look
sky's
better.
the limit, buddy. Fiction, nonfiction, whatever it is, dude.
But towards the end of the podcast, kind of always getting final thoughts. You guys are killing it in business. I like what you guys are doing. You guys are making it happen.
Yeah.
I think only direction you guys have to go is up.
Yeah.
You have good service and good product. So it's like, that's our main thing is when we meet with companies, the companies we turn away is because of poor service, poor product.
Yeah.
And if the people have those two things, those are the people we want to work with. So
That's my biggest I guess fight though, because it's like, do I want to scale? Yeah, but I'll throw all weather decks under the bus. I don't care. I mean, at this point they're quantity over quality, and I mean to an extent though I am taking their. So I had employees and stuff and went the W-2 route. It just I didn't see it being scalable to what I wanted to do. So then I went the sub route, but I'm doing it different than them to the aspect that we're still on projects.
yeah.
Do I have a sub crew out there that's doing stuff? Yeah. But am I on the job? Yeah.
Which I think that's just a quality control. No matter the size that you get, I still feel that quality control people can be put in place.
Yeah.
And
100%.
it's almost like a foreman on a job site.
Yeah, and we look at it as we have a buddy that has an excavating company. He has 21 job sites running at a time.
Yeah.
They're huge, and it's like him and his brother. I mean, they're hitting job sites every day.
Yeah.
But it's they're running more as quality control now. It's going out, making sure every mark's being hit daily from here to here. They have their foremans on everything that they're doing, but it's you being in a position where hey, I have 2 bids to hit in Liberty today, and I know I have 2 decks that are being done over there. I'm going to bid these in between. I'm going over, stopping at these decks, making sure that they're getting done exactly the way they're supposed to be, changing anything that needs to be done. And it's there's also times where those projects are happening that I've had it where they come back with content that just doesn't meet what the standard of what we do. I'm go do it again. And it's really easy for everyone to be well, that's just a lot more work. That's driving all the way back out there, trying to line it up with the company, everything like that. I'm yeah, but if we carry the gold standard, go do it again.
Yeah.
People will learn pretty quickly not to fuck shit up.
Yeah.
They have to do it again. To where it's just I think a quality control level, it can happen at scale, but that's just how you outscale the next guys. How can you take a good product and scale it?
Well, I think there's for in the deck space too, I think there's a honey hole for I'd like to get to where we're just doing custom high-end decks and we have 5 crews. We got a couple guys that are out doing quality control, and then we got a couple sales guys, and that's like, to me, that's like plenty. Like, could I scale it to more than that? Yeah, but like I want to do like massive projects that are like there's a shitload of detail and they're awesome. At the end of the day, I don't want to do cookie cutter bullshit.
Like my deck.
That's actually funny. That's exactly what he meant.
Yeah.
Word for word. Yeah.
I don't want your deck.
Took the words straight out of his mouth.
No,
Yeah.
but that's kind of where I'd like to get to and just like stay there for a while because at that point, like I still want to be like, which I don't know, maybe that's might be my downfall or something, but like I still want to be like a part of the projects. Like that's like therapy for me, like working on the jobs. That's
Yeah.
like, but I know at some point I can't do that, but like that's gonna be like a come to Jesus meeting at that point.
That was about Dane 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Dane enjoyed editing.
Yeah.
He would sit there and he would go through editing.
Even though
stuff.
I wasn't that great at editing.
I think it was Ricky. He's like, what are you doing? He's like, well, I'm editing this. And he's like, actually, I think it was less than 2 years ago. Dane was still trying to keep his hand in on it. And he's like, you
Like
just need to
6
stop.
months ago.
Yeah, he's like, you just need to stop. Yeah.
He's
like-
it was longer than 6 months ago.
But he's like, you just need to stop. He's like, your time is spent elsewhere.
Logan's like,
you're done.
fucking 3 weeks ago.
I think it was yesterday.
Yeah.
No, but he's like, it was somewhere you put your headphones on. It's kind of like your therapy. You just zone out, focus on one thing. It's almost like the other stuff just kind of dissipates, and you'll get back to that later.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was hard, and it took him a while to figure it out. He said you need to do this, but then sometimes he'd be like, just for 30 minutes, you could sit there and like, just let me focus on something.
Yeah.
But the other thing too is the reason that I like the content side is probably the same reason you like just going out. Like growing up, I love physical labor. Like I love going outside and working and just accomplishing and getting a project done.
Mm-hmm.
I feel what I do now, nothing's ever done. I never get that satisfaction of looking at something like, oh, I finished that.
Yeah.
Like when I will work on a video or something, I could take something that was not finished and I could finish it.
Yeah.
Like my role now, I never have that. And it's like, also I don't get to turn on that creative side. That it's like I don't get to flex that side of my brain a lot anymore. To where it's like I can think so much about being creative in business, but then I sit down and I work on a video or I go film or I do photos or I do whatever. Excuse me. I feel like it almost like turns my brain back on, like the whole thing turns back on. And it's like I can see things in business differently. I feel like I can all of a sudden start like just seeing the whole board from a different viewpoint again. That like kickstarts something that sometimes I get so in the side of just using that right side of my brain working every day that's like I feel like the left side just bogs down. I'm just like, how do I fire it back up to like get, because I think using that left side makes me better on the right side. When my brain's thinking creatively, I can then see a problem that I have on the right side. It's not just that analytical side where most of the time I'm like, okay, this is what makes sense, but that creative viewpoint on it is, I think, a lot of times why I've always had kind of a different vision of how to get things done. And I think it's led to a lot of success where it's, I don't know, I enjoy content. I enjoy using both sides of my head and getting to, am I the best at content? No. But it's like, I enjoy it. And it's, I don't know, I get to finish something.
I agree with that because I think when you're looking at the same thing over and over again, you get blinders on. Like you become kind of unaware to the obvious stuff. Like, I don't know, I've stepped back and looked at problems different ways or had someone else look at them, and it's like, holy shit, why didn't I think of that? Well, I've been looking at it for 12 months and it was working, and now it's not, but I just took another perspective to see it. It's like, if you find a way that you can works for yourself to get you in a different mindset or give you that different perspective, it'll open up that creative process, I feel like, in your head.
Because I want it one day.
It's a very good example.
We're going to have 200 plus employees and they're going to be like, yeah, Dane still jumps out in content shoot once in a while. Like, keep an eye out, see if he shows up. But it's just
That's gonna
something.
be you when you have, instead of 5 crews, you have 200 crews.
Yeah. You're gonna be like, hey, Zach's gonna show up one of these days. Like, keep an eye out for him. But it's just like one of those things. I think it's understanding what you do is crazy important.
Yeah.
That's how you gain the respect of people that are working for you. That the content guys and the marketing people at MMG know I can do it.
Yeah.
I'm not just balking orders from a pedestal somewhere that they're like, well, how about you fucking do it? Like, all right, I'll do it. Like,
yeah.
Because I've sat in that spot before where I've had people tell me what to do. Like, I've had sales managers in the car business like, do this, this, and this. And I'm like, you can't even fucking touch me in what I do, bro. Like, stop telling me what to do when you don't do any of that shit. I've seen you go TO deals, and I've seen you shit down your leg every single time.
But then on the other side, we've had sales managers that
we're great.
Yeah, it's like do it. Okay, if I do it, it's half my deal.
Yeah,
they go out, they close it, and then they're like, "That's half mine." And then you're like, "You're not going back out. How about you load me up with what to say, and I'll just do that."
Yeah,
but it's like it gained a whole different level of respect for those guys. I had sales managers in the car business. I still respect to this day because I saw those guys do what they said that they would do.
Yeah,
there's sales managers I had in the car business that I don't respect them for nothing at this point, just because I saw them always balk orders of nothing they could back up.
Yeah.
So,
and that's like my deal too. I'm like, I want to be out there with them, like building it, because it's like then it's like I feel like there is like another level of respect or whatever. It's like, no, he's not just like running around going to bids, shooting numbers off, and then sticking us on a fucking job. It's like, oh shit, he's like out here doing it with us. It's like this is.
And it doesn't even have to be all the time. Like the principle of servant leadership is just that you're willing to get in the trenches with them.
Yeah,
it's like just like
you will
do it. You know, like if shit hits the fan. Yeah, I think that's one of the best ways to lead is with servant leadership.
I'll be the I'll burn the boats, whatever it is. Like I'm the first one there, and whatever, take everything full force. So I don't have a problem doing that.
Where do you see Longhorn in the next 5 years?
I mean, I think our 5-year goal is to get to, like, as far as like a revenue standpoint, I want to get to 5 million, and then I want to get to around like 10 crews is where I see it going in 5 years, but is where I'd like it to be. But I want that to be, like I said, I want that to be like we're like the go-to custom deck builders. Like, yeah, all weather decks, Casey Deck can have everything else. I'm like, whoever like custom home builders are calling, like, hey, money's not an option. Like, they want a sick deck. Like, that's who they're calling. They're calling us.
Hell yeah. Mm-hmm. I like it. I have no question that you'll get there. Yeah. The one thing I see all the time is when you come to the table with work ethic and the willingness to learn, you can move mountains.
Yeah.
So it's, you guys are in the right direction. You're doing all the right things, and I am very, very thankful that we've crossed paths.
Same here.
I'm excited to watch the future and excited for our partnership moving forward. And it's very thankful for you coming on the podcast. Made me laugh and almost killed me on the podcast. But
he did say he could drink a whole case on the podcast.
He did. Yeah. I think podcast number 2, we're going to do a case race on the podcast.
I thought people were going to keep feeding me. No one kept feeding me.
I did. I think you still got one sitting over there on the floor.
I was saving it to shotgun it at the end. But, you know, it's
I bet Dre would do that with you.
Yeah, I bet Dre would do that with you.
On the podcast. It would be the
Stay tuned for the podcast aftermath.
How about you two both grab beer and shotgun?
It would be the first.
Dre.
We'll do it.
Yeah.
No, we don't need
to.
I'll do it with you if you do it. Yeah. It'd be the first shotgun on the podcast. Well.
Okay.
All right, let's shotgun on the podcast.
Is it down here?
Yeah.
Okay, ready?
Who's got?
That's that Bethany education.
That's Bethany, Missouri speed. It's Bethany, Kansas speed. All right, that's the M3 podcast. Thank you for joining. Join us again next week. Peace.
Thanks for listening to the M3 Podcast. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. Want to learn more? Check us out on Instagram at Moss Marketing Group, on Facebook at Moss Marketing 58 or on our website at mossmarketinggroup.com.